It is actually a spectacular day. This is basically dead already, which is very sad, but I'm over it. Maybe if I repot it, it will start looking better and I will like it more. I had a good check-in and then decided to put carbs back in my diet. I did not expect this. Looks like a bloody potato. Ew, gross. The only carbs I'm really having are... I've paid more attention to body fat than body weight. Birds come and have a drink. Cool, that's 2 done. Ugh. They can climb, they can hang, and they can tolerate neglect. I'm just gonna put that photo on screen. That's so unhealthy. I would not do that.
Love yours.
Hey guys, welcome back. It is currently Friday and I've got the day off for once. It is actually a spectacular day outside. It's stunning. The sun is out. So I thought I would take this opportunity to do a lot of the replanting that I have been putting off. I couldn't really do it through winter because that's a bit of a stupid time to pot up plants. I'm going to take you along with some repotting. This morning I had a bit of a late start. I went to the gym, had my first meal, and it is currently 3 o'clock. A bit late in the day. At my desk, this pothos is pretty ready, so we'll take that outside. I actually don't want more of these plants, but I think the props look really cool, so I'm just gonna leave that there. I didn't put these ones in long ago. I honestly have so many of these, I don't know why I'm even propagating it, it's just addictive. Going over to my propagation wall. This is definitely ready. Oh, this actually broke off one of my succulents. I thought I'd dump it in water and I can't believe it's actually got roots in it. That's incredible. These roots still look a bit sad, so I'll leave that there. These look like they're ready to go, but I hate the way this plant grows, so I kind of don't even want the plants. That is definitely ready. That's definitely ready. I'll take that aglaonema out. These are definitely ready, but I don't even want more of these plants. I guess we're gonna repot them, hope for the best. Otherwise, I could not care less if they die. My propagation wall is looking extremely depressing now. After I finish repotting, I'll take this off the wall and wipe it down because it's really dusty and gross. That Norfolk Island pine, I would like to take outside and wash it down because it looks like it's getting some sort of pest infestation, which is a big no-no because I have some plants that I really love around it. It should be outside in the warmer months. I brought it inside because it can die from the frost during winter. That ZZ plant, I hate the way it's just sticking out of its cover pot. That needs to be watered. This Monstera is well overdue for a watering, but also a repot. We're going to take this outside and repot. Luckily, not too heavy yet. In the main bathroom, this lily is very sad, so I'm going to take that outside, give it a nice watering with the hose. I hate how that ZZ plant looks with the terracotta cover pot, so I'm going to repot that. I really wanted to repot this into the terracotta. I'm really into like greyish, grey beige terracotta, but it will dry it out too quickly and I'll have to water it way too often, which I don't want to do, so we'll leave that there. I also have this disgrace of a situation. If I have time, I will clean this up. This is also an abomination. I made the mistake of getting these cocoa coir baskets. They dry out so quickly. You basically need to water every day or every couple of days. So after planting many things in them and killing them all, I learned that you can line the bottom of it with a plastic bag with some holes in it to help keep moist for longer. If I have time, I will empty them. This is basically dead already, which is very sad, but I'm over it. These seem to be holding on for dear life. And I have quite a few others I might end up using or just burning because they're so annoying. I swear I didn't coordinate this. My gardening gloves are purple, my leggings are pastel purple, and my work boots have purple laces. Purple actually used to be my favourite colour when I was in primary school. Cute. This lighting is abysmal and I can't fix it, I'm sorry. This soil is quite dry and dense. Normally monsteras and aroids like a really chunky, airy soil. Just struggling to get this out. Nice. Check out the roots on that. So satisfying. It doesn't look like the root. It doesn't look like the roots can breathe much. So I have a chunky arrow mix that's just been sitting outside, but I don't really care. I'm going to use it. Mainly orchid bark, perlite, and then general purpose potting mix. I'm actually just going to put it straight into this beautiful pot. It does have one drainage hole at the bottom. It's currently covered so it doesn't leak, but you can actually pull that out. So now it's a hole and the water can drain because it needs to be able to, ideally. It's not much bigger of a pot, but it should help giving it a soil refresh, especially going into spring and summer when it's going to grow a lot more. I probably should wear a mask for this. Some people do like to try and break the roots up and get it out of the soil, but I don't believe there's a reason to disrupt it if you don't need to. How crazy. Those roots have grown into the bottom of the pot. I'm just gonna chuck it straight in like this. That's one down. Give it a water in a moment with the other ones. Next up. This is quite random, but I really enjoy repotting out of these oven trays, baking trays. I do have a proper I do have a proper repotting mat, which is a lot bigger, and it'd probably make more sense, but I think it's just easier to mix soil around in these. Next up, I'm gonna repot this ZZ plant. It probably does not need repotting. There's barely any plant in here, but I've hated the way it's looked for a long time. Maybe if I repot it, it will start looking better and I will like it more. I don't really have much use for these terracotta pots, as I realized they dry plants out too quickly and I probably shouldn't have bought this many. I'm trying to use terracotta pots for all the plants that like staying dry. Oh wow, it actually has quite an established root system, and it's a very sandy potting mix. Oh my god, I did not expect this. Oh, that was like a sixth of the plant that's just broken off. Okay, we might have to change my plan. This is looking really sad. It's literally just crumbling, and I broke another one. I'm probably just gonna have to propagate these now. What? It looks like a potato. I knew they had thick roots, but this looks like a bloody potato. What the hell? Is this normal? This is a disaster. I should not have done this. Oh my god. I've managed to salvage this potato with some roots attached and 3 stems, a baby one on its own, and 3 more, or maybe 2 because that one looks like it's broken. Now I kind of feel like it'd be stupid to plant these in such a big pot because there's just too much room. The roots might rot if they stay wet for too long. You don't want to put plants in pots that are too big for them because the soil that there's no roots in will stay really wet and potentially rot the roots. Oh, maybe it could work. Ew, gross. Look at all the dead roots. I've honestly been very unimpressed with this plant, so I could not care less what happens, but who knows, it might grow properly if I neglect it. Ew. I'm just gonna reuse the same soil because I feel like the soil was fine and I don't really want to use my own nice soil for this plant. Did I break this as well? So I'll just water prop that. And then we have one more little stem. That is nowhere near enough soil. I'm just gonna take some soil out of this, even though it's kind of contaminated with dead flower pieces and roots. That's enough soil. There's still quite a bit empty, but considering there's not much root in there, it probably doesn't need to be super full. Wish me luck. I will let you know if this is dead in a couple of weeks. Based on how that went, I'm actually really scared to repot this. And I kind of feel like I shouldn't, but I'm gonna do it anyway because I said I hate the way it looks sticking out of this pot. Oh my gosh. the roots on this are crazy. I should not put it in a smaller pot, but I don't really have a bigger one. Oh dear. My initial thought was to divide this into 2 different plants so that way the roots could establish nicely in one big pot and then the rest could spread in another pot, but I am finding it really hard to divide this without breaking all the roots. I've just pulled out all these dead stalks that were looking really ugly. The soil was crumbly, so I managed to get a lot of it off. I think I'm just going to repot it like that. But look how tangled. I would be dumb to try and split that. I'll probably kill the whole plant. Actually does not look anywhere near as bad as I thought it would. I'm just so happy I got all those dead bits out and I really hope this survives. It's probably traumatized from what I just did to it. Once again, I will let you know if this is dead in 2 weeks. I'm going to quickly water all these big ones now because it's getting towards the end of the afternoon and the sun's going away. And I want to make sure they can dry as much as possible before taking them inside. Definitely overfilled that pot with soil. Why do I always do this? Something I wish I did earlier when I got houseplants is wash them down properly with a hose or in the shower. Keeps the leaves nice and clean without you having to wipe them down individually, and it can help keep pests away. Make sure you clean the back of the leaves as well because that's where a lot of bugs can hide. I had a hose gun, but it somehow snapped. So now I have to use a hose like a peasant. Plants usually need to be watered for a lot longer than you think they do, which is why I don't bother with a watering can or a watering jug, because by the time I refill it, it will have been like 100 times to get enough water. You really want the soil to be saturated through. I don't know if I've ever shown this, but it is a solar powered water fountain and the birds come and have a drink from it. There's the solar panel sitting in the banana tree. It's so cute and it's got LED lights at the top which you can't see because it's daytime and they're not on. I didn't really want to put it in the garden because it needs to be on stable ground and the ground is not stable here at all, so it is staying here for now. This always takes so much longer than what I think it's going to take. It has been like a couple of hours and I've just done the big pots. I haven't even gotten to the cuttings yet, but I'm determined to get them done today because I've been putting it off for so long and I just want to get it done. Before I do those, I'm just going to repot this jade plant. It was kind of diseased. It seems to be growing back pretty healthy now. Which pot do you reckon? We have this or this one. I'm such a sucker for that greyish colour. I think I'm going to put it in there. It just looks so much nicer contrasting against that green. Oh, it's just pulling out nicely. Ugh. Oh my god, there's so many spider webs on here. Ew. My grandma gave this one to me. She has a habit of planting things in really hard soil because she literally gets soil from her garden, bless her soul. I'm very happy to be. Oh, this has spider mites. I can see tiny spider webs everywhere. I'm not going to try and break the soil out of this because I feel like I'm just shaking it around and flicking spider mites everywhere. I'm just going to repot this, water it, and hopefully hose as many off as I can and then spray the out of it because yeah, I can see spider webs everywhere. Ew! At least it looks cute though now. Normally potting mix, there's some bags sitting over there, see those little orange balls, slow release fertilizer in it. This currently has no slow release fertilizer, so hopefully that's going to help it a little bit, as well as getting rid of the spider mites. Gonna try and not overfill this one. Stunning! I am not taking any risks with this in terms of getting spider mites on my other plants, so I'm literally gonna hose it out there. When I started keeping plants, I was like, I'm not going to use any pesticides or sprays, but you just can't keep up sometimes. Like, I don't have time. Now I'm up to all of these cuttings and it's 5 o'clock and it's getting really cold and dark outside, but I said I'm going to do it. We've got this aglaonema. I'm going to put that in one pot together. This pothos, I'll put in its own pot. Let me just get some pots ready. Just emptying all these pots of dead plants that I gave up on. I'm just going to reuse the soil. Usually I'll use a mixture of orchid bark, perlite, and sometimes some peat moss. I'm still figuring out what the fuck I'm doing, to be honest, with plants, but it's worked, I guess, for most of my plants. Maybe I will sit down actually. These chairs are just too low. I was planning on doing like a nice relaxing talking to you about my life and repot, but apparently it's just been chaotic. Props to all the plant YouTubers I watch that are actually able to repot and talk and have everything organized, but that's not me today. The roots are really not that established on this, so this pot's gonna be way too big. Let me get a little black pot. Clear pots are really good because you can see the roots developing through the pot, but I read that black pots are good because they shade the roots, which is more how plants grow in their natural environment. I'm going to try putting these in a much smaller pot because I have another plant and I put it in a much bigger pot and it's growing, but I'm interested to see what will happen if I make it a lot more root bound in a smaller pot. Maybe it will grow quicker. These cuttings are about to see the end of their life. I'm very happy I'm finally getting around to this. Hopefully they'll spruce back up when I water them. One done. I'm gonna do these heartleaf philodendrons in go small pot. Small pots are usually better for plants that are not fully established yet. I'm extremely glad I have this soil already mixed up, otherwise I have all the separate tubs of orchid bark, perlite, peat moss, sand and everything in boxes, and I have to mix them first, and it just takes so much more effort. I feel like I'm making plant care sound really stressful. It's actually really relaxing. I feel like when you have to film something though, it just makes it a lot more stressful than it actually is, so over time I might have a more relaxed demeanor whilst doing this. Oh, and it's always good to tap the plants to make sure there's no air pockets where the soil hasn't filled in. I forgot to do that with this one. Cool, that's 2 done. I think I'll put most of these in my cabinet to give them a solid chance of survival. Next up, I will do these syngoniums. Just wondering if I should put them together. Yep, I'm gonna put them together. Trying to make a really conscious effort of not keeping plants that stress me out because I have a lot. They have pests or they're just not growing properly, and you spend so much energy trying to grow them and it goes nowhere. Some plants just won't work for your conditions. I'm just trying to learn to let go of them and get rid of them so I can continue enjoying my hobby without stressing. 3 done. Now I'm going to do this philodendron silversaw, which I chopped up because the main plant got aphids, very diseased. I ended up just chucking it outside on this shelf because I didn't want to deal with it. So here's attempt 2 at growing this plant. Like, I still have one, but it's just very ugly. Maybe this one will grow nicer. We will see. When I first got into plants, I just bought anything and everything that I saw that was unique and that I didn't have in my collection, but now I'm very selective and I'm actually trying to downsize even though I'm potting up cuttings because it gets really overwhelming looking after lots of plants. And also, I've not discussed that we're going away for 5 weeks for December, which is usually pretty warm in Melbourne. I'm still trying to figure out what the fuck I'm going to do to keep my plants alive. You can get plant babysitting services. I could hypothetically take my plants to my grandma to look after, but she doesn't know how to look after them properly. Like, she kind of just wings it and nails it. I read on Reddit you can do this thing where you get a pot of water and you put string inside the water and you drip it down and attach it to a plant and it will slowly drip feed water into the plant. I'm probably going to do that. I need to do a trial run before I go, but I'm putting it off because I don't want to have pots of water sitting around the house. All right, the fourth one done. Here's to hoping this plant grows nicer and doesn't get diseased again. I'm just gonna do this one. If you're looking to get into plants and you wanna know which plant to buy, it is a Epiprenum aurum, a pothos, devil's ivy. It comes in lots of different colors and they're really hard to kill. They don't need extreme light, but if you do give them light, they'll grow amazingly large. They can climb, they can hang, and they can tolerate neglect. Cute! Do I need any more of these? No. Am I still propagating them? Yes. I'm still undecided about these. I kind of just like the way they look in water when they're propagating. You know what? I'm not going to plant these. As I just said, I don't want to look after plants that I'm not in love with. It's a waste of my time, energy, and it annoys me. I'm just going to put those back in the propagation jars and they can do whatever they like. That is all of the repotting for today. I'm just going to pack this up and wash the decking because I have made a mess.
Walker, thank you for wanting a verse from me. Apologies for the wait, sometimes it's hard to...
Hey guys, I just wanted to film an update on the diet and just give some tips on how to measure your progress in an effective way. My weight has barely changed, my body fat's barely changed in terms of the numbers. My biggest issue has been my performance in the gym has really stalled. I definitely feel like I've hit a wall with pushing myself in the gym, so I've decided to move away from keto and put carbs back in my diet. I'd run keto for about 2 months and at the start it was great. I still have not done a video on why I actually love keto. If my goal was not to constantly change my body composition, keto is a really nice diet to stay on year round if your goal is to maintain your weight, because the food you get to eat is delicious. You always feel full, your skin's amazing. I've been on carbs for I think a couple of weeks now and I've already noticed my skin getting worse again from the way my body reacts to food. Whenever I'm on keto, my skin is exceptional. I don't have issues with random pimples popping up because I'm not having sugar or really anything that's processed. I've switched back to carbs in hopes of improving my performance in the gym. It took about a week for the carbs to sort of sink in because my body's depleted of glycogen. It takes a while to refill your glycogen stores, like the cells in your body that hold glucose. My training's become so much better eating carbs. Unfortunately, if your goal is to increase performance, carbohydrates are essentially an energy source that your body can burn through and use really quickly. The only carbs I'm really having are potatoes, so sweet potatoes, some white potatoes, a lot of rice. I do have jasmine rice. Basmati rice is better as lower GI. It doesn't spike your blood sugar as much, but I just prefer how thick and fluffy jasmine is, so I'm sticking with that for now. Plus I've got 10 kilos of it in the pantry. I've also been making my own bread. My mum sent me the amazing Recipe Tin Eats cookbook and I finally decided to stop going to Coles to buy bread because it's basically like 10 ingredients, but the bread I've been making is literally flour, yeast, salt and water. It's super quick and easy. I'll film that in my next video to show you how I do it because I feel like it's just really stupid to buy bread now knowing how easy it is to make it, and you save a lot of money. But yeah, basically just having sweet potatoes, rice, bread, occasionally a banana pre-workout, but that's it. Super clean still. I'm not interested in junk food or cheat meals. I feel really great being on carbs again. It has been quite a while since I've been dieting, so I'm starting to feel super hungry all the time. Like straight after I eat, I feel hungry again, which sucks, but it's just the nature of it. Like I said in my previous video, if your goal is to lose weight, at some point you just have to get used to feeling hungry and enjoy it. Throughout my last few check-ins, my weight hasn't dropped significantly, but also my body fat hasn't dropped significantly. We measure our body fat using the 9-point skin fold test, where there's 9 sites that you use body fat calipers. We just got some off Amazon. It basically pinches the fat on a certain part of your body to measure how many millimeters it is, and then you add all the millimeters up and there's some formula that exists to tell you what your body fat percentage is. It's never going to be completely accurate. You can also measure your body fat through DEXA scans, which we used to do, but I think DEXA scans are illegal now because of the radiation it puts through your body. There's also in-body tests that some gyms have where you stand on a scale, it sends waves through your body. Skin folds are great because you can do them at home. It's quick. If you have someone else to do it for you, obviously that's ideal. I don't think you'd be able to do 9 sites impressed by yourself. When you measure body fat with calipers, it doesn't measure everywhere on your body. An area it doesn't measure is your glutes, and your glutes hold a lot of fat. You could be losing fat in all these other areas, but that's not accounted for in your body fat percentage taken by skin folds. I was initially quite disappointed that my numbers weren't changing, and I guess because last year I got to like 15% body fat, I've been wanting to beat that. As of my last check-in, I was at 21%, but I just have to remember that my goal at the end of all of this is to look better, and how I look should not be determined by a certain number. I know females in particular fixate on achieving a certain number on the scale, which is a great goal initially, but when your body weight starts fluctuating, if you're retaining more water, that can increase your weight. If you're stressed, that can increase your weight. If you happen to lose fat and gain muscle, your weight might not drop. There's so many things that can affect your weight. The reason why I've paid more attention to body fat than body weight is it tells you more about your body composition than just how much you weigh. You could achieve your dream weight and still not be happy with how you look because the ratio of muscle to fat you have might not be what you're wanting. Something I've had in the back of my mind since I started training and since I learned about body fat percentages is, yes, different body fat percentages will look different on different people. I just said different like 500 times. However, there's a range of percentages that will sort of dictate how you look. I'm just going to put that photo on screen so you can understand what I mean. As a general rule of thumb, if you reach the body fat percentage associated with the photo in the image, that is how lean you will look, or toned or defined. Females usually hold more body fat than men. To be shredded as a female, you'll normally be about 10 to 13%. 14 to 17%, you should still be able to see your abs. The way your abs look are genetic. It depends on how your body is designed and structured, so you can thank your parents for it. Essential fat for females is about 10%. For men, it's 3 to 5% because they don't have as much going on with their hormones. They don't hold on to as much fat as females. More of an athletic look, you're normally looking between 14 to 20% body fat as a female. However, in that 14 to 18% body fat range, it is generally quite difficult for females to sustain that. Obviously, as a female, if you stay too lean for too long, you will fuck up your hormones, potentially lose your period and all of that jazz. It's important not to go overboard with staying shredded all year round, unless I guess it's your job or you're a model or something like that, but that's still unhealthy. I would not do that. Point of this being, body fat percentages are a great goal as it will help you work towards a goal of how you look as opposed to just focusing on a number on the scale. There's no point aiming for certain numbers and hating your life when you don't achieve them if you already look how you want to look. Like, if you're happy with how you look, the numbers don't really matter. I think that's what I'm trying to say. Numbers don't matter, it's how you look. It's also how you feel. That's really important as well. Right now, I'd say I'm quite lean. All my clothes are baggy on me. I'm starting to see a bit of separation, striations in my chest, which I know a lot of females are not into, but I get excited because it means I'm getting lean. My boobs are getting really small as well, which kind of sucks, but I kind of like it. Naturally, when I'm holding more body fat, my boobs get big. I guess bigger boobs look better, but having smaller boobs just feels nicer and more practical. I'm getting really off track now on this video. Basically, point of this all is to say that my numbers have not been moving along as quickly as I want them to, but I shouldn't really care about it because I'm happy with how I look. Ultimately, it just comes down to how good I feel going to the gym every day, how my performance is improving, my confidence is increasing as I get more in shape, and that's all that really matters. There's no point chasing numbers when they're not the true marker of success. Thank you for listening. I'm so sorry this vlog has been so delayed. I've recently been promoted to a different job within my company, so a lot of my time is taken up with learning and adjusting to that. I haven't really spoken too much about my work, which I might do at some point. YouTube's always something I just wish I could spend so much time on, but I work full time, so the reality is I just struggle to fit it all in. So if you've made it this far, if you're still watching, if you're subscribed, I really appreciate you. Thank you for being here with me. I hope you've learned something from me just talking shit for like 20 minutes. I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Holidays inching closer, which initially I honestly wasn't super excited for, but I cannot wait to switch off, not have to work and film in a different place. I'm really excited to vlog in Koh Samui because I've been a few times. I feel like I'm just telling you my whole life story now and I need to get back to work, so I'm going to shut up. Thanks for being here. Keep on winning. Make sure you sleep enough. Make sure you hit your macros. Minimize processed food. Get vitamin D. Touch some grass. Have a great day. See ya.